Hello, it seems like people are getting dumber from AI use. So here is an article. It says that failing grades soar as professors see greater AI usage, dwindling math skills in UC Berkeley computer science classes. So compared to previous years and compared to the previous year, so in 2025, the grades were much better compared to 2026. So something has happened just this recent year, and people are having much worse grades for some reason. And the professors there, they seem to think that it's because of AI, and and they're finding, yes, some students are being caught, but I suppose not all of them, and like they are cheating on their hand-ins, and and then either they fail when they need to pass a test, or their score on the test is worse. So probably if they cheat on the hand-ins and get more help, then they don't learn the material as well, and that's why they have worse grades on the tests. So if we look here, it says the percentage of failing grades in multiple UC Berkeley computer science classes in spring 2026 is significantly higher than past semesters and marks a departure from the department's grading guidelines. Instructors point to students' increased reliance on AI, lack of mathematical preparedness, and understaffing as potential contributing factors. And this thing, so when I went to the university, I started 15 years ago. But then in the very beginning of my university studies, so it was software engineering. And then they had a preparatory course in programming and in math. But that was quite a recent thing with programming, that they needed some introduction to programming. Because in previous years, then how it had been earlier, then it was computer interested people who started software engineering, but now they had kind of realized or had a problem that now there are students who start computer science or software engineering who has never programmed anything, so they have no concept of programming, so they needed some introductory course for those people. So for them it was a new thing back then, 15 years ago, that now there are suddenly people starting who have never programmed before. They're starting with software engineering at the university. But this was in Sweden at 𝗘𝗺𝗶𝗹 University. But it seems like this is the new phase now. The students are relying on AI, so they are not even learning during the studying. So they didn't know programming before, and they don't learn programming during the university. They say here, so 35% of CS10 students and 10% of CS61A students received F in spring 2026. And so in spring 2025 and 2024, so then the percentage of Fs did not exceed 10% for either class. So it's like a huge increase. They had a picture here where you can see that as well. So here you have spring 2026, 2025, 2024, and the typical. So 7% usually get failing grades, but now all of a sudden it's 35%. So did the study material or demands, requirements, did it suddenly change, or is it maybe the AI that they suspect? So that's one component, and that people are failing. But also here, in addition, the guidelines state that a typical GPA for a lower division course will fall in range 2.8 to 3.3. But in spring 2026, both classes' average grades were C++, so according to Berkeley time, corresponding to a 2.3 GPA. So the grades are much lower as well. So I'm happy that I learned programming without any AI, but it must be so difficult to be a student nowadays. But I don't really get it, how it can be so tempting to be cheating. But suppose if you look up some answers and you kind of think that you learn when you read it and copy-paste the answer from ChatGPT, but I guess you don't internalize that skill. So I think you actually need to think more and struggle and do the programming yourself. You cannot just copy-paste from ChatGPT. So even if we had Stack Overflow before and we're copy-pasting from there, but at least you needed to do some thinking yourself. But now we just have ChatGPT and the 𝗘𝗺𝗏 who does the thinking for you. So those tools there are very helpful, and try to use them at work. It's not in all my projects I'm allowed to use AI, but it seems like kind of dangerous for people growing up today who are learning programming today, and that yeah, with this reliance on AI, like on one hand, yeah, I guess like with studying, then you need to do it yourself to learn it. But later at work, so if you want to be productive and keep up with the other people, I guess you kind of need to use AI. If like all of your colleagues are using AI and vibe coding and pushing a lot of code, and you are yeah, behind and yeah, like refuse to use that, and then you produce less. Yeah, maybe you will like feel forced to use AI, and especially when there are companies who are forcing their employees to use AI. So how will you be able to learn during those conditions? So I think, yeah, from a like if junior perspective, then it must be difficult to how will you ever like learn to become a senior so you will be able to review the code from an AI? So if you are never in this phase of being a junior and learning and struggling, like if you just skip that, and yeah, how will you ever become a senior if you are not allowed to be in that phase where you are learning? But I think, yeah, with the university, that should be like one learning ground, and it's just interesting that students or so, yeah, they're so lazy or cheating, or maybe it's not even like intentionally. It's just yeah, it's like the best method to search nowadays. So it just has this backside that you don't internalize the knowledge. But yeah, quite interesting. I think yeah, it would be very interesting to see what happens like following years, how this will progress. It does not look like bright for me, who is working and have a job and all that, who is past that junior phase. For me, it's good, but a bit worrying. How will like the field of programming look like in the future if it continues like this?